SpaceX has given other space tech companies a run for their money with highly advanced tech and consistent efforts to make space exploration accessible to all. And it's these attributes of the company that keeps it on the top, even if the CEO is distracting and in some cases verges on being pretty embarrassing. In today's video, we'll be talking all about the company's recent accomplishment, as they just broke the record for most rocket launches annually. So SpaceX seems to be doing just fine. In fact, they're doing really well. SpaceX, under the leadership of Elon Musk, has achieved yet another milestone, and presently it has no competition operating at the same level as them. With such advanced tech, it doesn't come as a surprise to know that they are breaking records at this point. So other companies need to take several steps forward if they hope to achieve a fraction of what SpaceX has already done. The most recent milestone achieved by Elon Musk's company is the fact that they just surpassed the highest number of rockets launched in 1 year. The company last year managed to send a total of 31 missions, hoping to launch its internet satellites into orbit. Now, with only 7 months of 2022 gone, they have launched around 32 rockets. That's really cool, isn't it? With a huge chunk of its objectives accomplished, SpaceX is well on its way to achieving its annual goal. Through these rapid launches, the company hopes to complete its huge Internet from Space Starlink constellation. They are even sending out up to 53 satellites at one time. The most recent launch took an additional number of around 46 Starlink satellites. This means that currently, SpaceX has around 2,600 Starlink satellites in the orbit. But this raises one question: are they prioritizing quantity over quality? If you're worried that Musk is currently only thinking about launching rockets by the dozen, and he'll get there by breaching protocols if he has to, well, then you're right to think like that. Of course, this is a matter of grave concern, and such questions should be raised. But during a meeting of NASA's Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel, Magnus said that this was an incredible pace. Magnus is an astronaut and also the former executive director of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, or ASAP. So if the professionals are on board, then we probably don't have much to worry about. One thing that allows SpaceX to maintain this unprecedented rapid launch rate is the fact that it can partially reuse its Falcon Heavy vehicles along with the Falcon 9s. Wondering how it's able to manage that? Here's the thing: the company can land the rocket boosters. Through these, they are then able to recover half of the nose cone after the rocket has been launched. Reusing these parts also helps in cutting costs. Executives have stated that following this method has allowed them to bring the cost of each launch below $30 million. That's still pretty expensive, but compared to NASA's expenses, it's barely 20%. Yep, that's right. It takes well over $160 million for a NASA rocket to be launched. SpaceX has also been able to reduce its price from the original price tag of $60 to $90 million. So with their reusable tech, the company isn't just able to reduce cost, but also ensure consistent quality. Let's give you an example. The Falcon 9 used in the Transporter 3 mission in early July has actually been used about 10 times since it was first debuted. Of course, this doesn't mean that they should stop worrying. Magnus also stated that it is important for the company to give proper attention to each launch. NASA and SpaceX will be collaborating specifically on their joint missions to make sure that no security protocols are violated and that the right resources are used to ensure safety. What's next for the company then? They are going to stop after 33 launches. Nope, they hope to reach the goal of a whopping 52 launches. That means they hope to carry out launches at the rate of 1 per week. That sounds very ambitious, don't you think? We can't wait to see how this will turn out for the company. But keeping their performance in mind, we're sure that they'll be able to reach this milestone as well. SpaceX has had a pretty stellar and consistent performance over the past 3 years. It carried out 26 launches in 2020, which were followed by 31 launches in 2021. And now, with only 7 months into the year 2022, they've passed the 32 launches benchmark. With a few days left in July, Musk hopes to squeeze in 2 launches before this month ends. Up till now, his team has managed 3 successful Falcon 9 launches. Now, we're not entirely sure if the 52 launches include its awaited test flights for the Starship prototype rockets. No clarification has been given by ASAP or SpaceX when they were asked for further clarification, but we can soon expect updates on this topic. Other scheduled flights include a variety of multi-crewed space flights, which also include some missions for NASA itself. SpaceX has a present partnership with NASA, which leads us to send Dragon capsules to the International Space Station. These capsules include cargo and people. Elon is making sure that his company is moving ahead at full speed. They have a fully booked schedule, which can only mean one thing: we can expect serious advancements in the field of space. That's all we have on SpaceX beating its record. Let's catch you up on what else is going on with the company. First up, we have SpaceX firing employees for speaking against the CEO. Some of you might remember that a few employees came out with some rather interesting statements regarding the CEO, Elon Musk. Musk, as we all know, is a rather ecstatic CEO who is often appearing in headlines for one reason or another. Just recently, he's been under fire for having an affair with Google's co-founder's wife. Apart from this, he also had twins with one of his executives around the same time he had his son with Grimes, the musical artist. He was also one of the subtle yet important characters present in the infamous infamous Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trials. Oh, and how can we forget that one of his massage therapists reported him for sexual misconduct. Apparently, he asked her to perform sexual acts in return for a horse. Yep, that's right. So we can safely assume that due to this wide variety of weird instances, the employees came forward stating that the CEO was somewhat of an embarrassment and distraction for them, and in retrospect, they probably shouldn't have done that, as soon enough they were fired. Well, the company has stated that the ones involved had actually forced others into signing this letter, which is why they found it appropriate to get rid of them. But the now fired employees have stated that this letter was written after a month of gathering feedback from several employees. So it's not clear as to whom we should believe. No one from the company has really provided a comment regarding the situation, so we can only wait. Now, let's find out if they faked the results of the 5G interface. SpaceX has always been a hub of controversies and speculations, and it's largely owed to Musk's rather colorful personality. Apparently, now the company has come forward saying that 5G would disrupt the Internet from Space service from Starlink. It's been stated that this is merely a public misinformation campaign fueled by them against 5G. The company has come out with a 16-page lengthy analysis saying that 5G would actually end up causing disruptions. But the experts from 5G for 12 GHz Coalition say that this is pure hogwash. Well, they didn't use the exact words per se, but they did state that the document is both scientifically and logically flawed. Yikes. Lastly, we have a devastating revelation that SpaceX actually ignored warnings from FAA before the Starship launch last year. Well, this won't serve well for their credibility. Here's what happened. As it turns out, the company received at least 2 warnings from the Federal Aviation Administration just a few moments before the liftoff. This launch aimed to put the first high-altitude Starship prototype, but during this time, the company was under investigation, and this ended up violating the terms of their launch license and other confidential documents. SpaceX is defending its actions by stating that the software used by the agency is often faulty and causes frustration. We don't know much about how space tech works, but that certainly seems like a wrong answer. They had originally planned to launch the SN8 on the 8th of December without FAA's approval, but it was delayed due to an engine issue. The data sent by SpaceX showing that the rocket was safe to fly was continuously rejected by the FAA. The launch countdown was even paused at one point, but it was then restarted by the Director of Launch Operations. The director's name was conveniently left out of the incident report, and the only justification given was that he thought that the data was sufficient for the launch and that they had the approval. Seems fishy, don't you think? Well, we can only hope that's true. That's a wrap for this video, guys. What do you think of SpaceX's rapid launches in 2022? How many rockets will they be able to launch next year? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this.